My name is Doug, and I'm going to take you on a journey this afternoon. They say that the Delta begins right here in the lobby of the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, and it ends on Catfish Row in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Well, they also say that this Peabody Hotel has 13 stories. That's not true. It has thousands of stories. Stories of visiting presidents consecutively, from Harry S. Truman to George W. Bush, of diplomats and dignitaries and monarchs, and stories of the big bands and the 30s and 40s broadcasting live from the historic Skyway Ballroom on the rooftop. Stories of the king of rock and roll, but also of anniversaries celebrated and reunions visited, and through it all, the Peabody Ducks have marched from the rooftop down to the lobby back, and in so doing, they've woven the fabric which contains the names and the faces and the events that are the history of this hotel. Well, it all started back in 1869 when Colonel Robert Brinkley realized his dream by opening a state-of-the-art hotel just 2 blocks from here at Monroe in Maine, called the Brinkley House, and to set the tone for cuisine and luxury in the South. Unfortunately, the Colonel's good friend and investor, Mr. George Peabody, passed away that same year over in Europe, and they changed the name of the hotel from the Brinkley House to the Peabody at that time in his honor. They went along there some 55 years at that location, hosting such luminaries as Ronald Reagan and President McKinley. And then in 1925, on September the 1st, the doors opened to this beautiful facility we stand in today at the cost of some $5 million in a couple of years. But that's not the whole history of this hotel, folks, not by a long shot. So if you get an opportunity, go up on the mezzanine level, check out our memorabilia, go in and push the red button, and you'll hear a narrative of all the names and faces, objects, souvenirs of decades past here at the hotel. My favorite is a framed memo from Mr. Gary Bell, the managing partner of the hotel, to the food and beverage director who was trying to change the menu over in Chez Philippe. He told him, even though you've got a French restaurant here, there better not be any duck on any menu for Peabody Hotel. Well, the tradition of duck in Peabody goes back a long way. Back in 1933, when General Manager Frank Schutt and his buddy Chip went on a cold duck hunt into the backwaters of Mississippi. They knew it was going to be a cold day, so they took along another companion, a certain Jack Daniels, otherwise known as fine Tennessee sipping whiskey. Well, after all, it was going to be cold. They needed a little encouragement. But as the day wore on, apparently they became a little over-encouraged, and they began to feel that it would be a really funny idea to bring their live duck decoys, which were legal in those days, back here and release them in the fountains. And they did. Then they went off to their rooms to sleep it off. Well, the next morning, Mr. Schutt was a little concerned over the mayhem that might have been caused due to his misdeed the night before. So he rushed down to the lobby, and he found 2 surprises. Number one, the ducks were still here. Hadn't flown off to see the sights of Memphis or Beale Street. Number 2, a group of tourists and guests had gathered, and they were delighted by the frolicking ducks and the fountain of such a fine hotel. So, of course, they were given a couple of days reprieve. It turned into an 80-year tradition. Well, in 1940, Mr. Edward Pembroke was hired for the hotel as a bellman, but he was a multi-talented individual. In another life, he'd been an animal trainer with Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. He told management upon his employment, "If you'll let me, I'll take 5 North American mallard ducks instead of these 3 English call ducks you have here, 1 male and 4 females. And I'll train them to march from the rooftop palace, across to the elevator, down to the lobby level, across the red carpet, and into the fountain every day at 11 o'clock. And then at 5 o'clock, I'll train them to march back, and I'll put them to bed." Well, management didn't know what to think about that exactly. They rolled their eyes, and they looked at each other, and they said, "All right, Edward, give that a shot. See what you can do." For 50 years, Mr. Pembroke guided ducks from the rooftop to the lobby back, and in so doing, he became an ambassador of goodwill for the city of Memphis and for the Peabody Hotel. And he appeared in such venues as The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, the Sesame Street program, where he and his ducks helped to celebrate National Rubber Ducky Day. Well, they also did photo shoots in People and other magazines. I would say that someone who's done his job so long and so well as Mr. Pembroke, well, he's mastered what he's done, wouldn't you? Management of the hotel thought so, and so they bestowed upon Edward Pembroke the title Duck Master, the world's first duck master here at the Peabody Hotel. Well, he's no longer with us today, folks, but Mr. Pembroke's spirit remains here in this lobby. And if you get a chance, check out the southwest entrance over there as you leave, and look at Mr. Pembroke with his beloved ducks looking down on us from a framed picture today. Well, that concludes our little history of the hotel and tradition of the ducks. All that remains is to march our five-feathered guests, except that I have a privilege to perform right now. From time to time, we run across someone with such integrity and such people skills, as well as skills with ducks, that we have to give them an opportunity to come and work with us here to be an honorary duck master. And today we have such a person. And on the occasion of his 21st birthday, I have a man to help me here with our proceedings. And so we would like to welcome Mr. Payson Matthews. Come on up. Good to see you today. Okay, now for anything to be official, we know we have to have a proclamation. Everybody knows that, so here we go. Whereas the daily march of the world-famous Peabody Ducks is a time-honored tradition begun in 1933 and attended by countless visitors. And whereas the care and the protection of the Peabody Ducks must be attended to on a daily basis and can only fall to persons of high standards and great distinction. And whereas you are such a person, be it resolved that on February 16, 2013, Payson Matthews has been chosen honorary duck master. There you go. All right. Okay. Now, in honor of this auspicious occasion, I'm going to present Payson with a official Peabody rubber ducky. There you go. And more importantly, so that he can help me perform my duties here tonight, an official honorary duck master's cane. There you go. Okay. Now, if you'd like to leave a couple of those things over there, not the cane, we'll get started with our duties. Now, we've talked about the history of the hotel and the tradition of the ducks, and I've introduced to you my honorary duck master today. All that remains is to play the John Philip Sousa Cotton States March, and we're going to march our five-feathered guests single file up the red carpet into that elevator. When that door closes at 5 o'clock, you too will have been eyewitness to the world-famous march of the Peabody Ducks. Thank you, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and your attention, please. Welcome to the historic Peabody Hotel. At the center of the grand lobby, the point where the Mississippi Delta has been said to begin, stands the classic Peabody fountain, carved from one piece of Italian travertine marble. Although famous in its own right, the fountain is better known the world over because of its residents. If I may direct your attention to the fountain now, you will witness a tradition begun in the 1930s at the South Grand Hotel, an experience uniquely yours as a guest of the Peabody. Preparing to return to their penthouse on the plantation roof for the night, ladies and gentlemen, the march of the world-famous Peabody Ducks.